Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast, the only local live streaming podcast of its kind. We're coming to you from Legacy Studios in downtown Wilkes-Barre. I'm Rich Howells, the founder and editor of NEPA Scene, and tonight we're here with Elijah Birtel, a longtime tattoo artist and co-founder of Electric City Tattoo in Scranton. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Before the Electric City Tattoo Convention returns to the Hilton Scranton this weekend, we're talking about how his early apprenticeships and how he learned to tattoo, his experiences throughout his 20 plus years as a tattoo artist, starting and owning a tattoo shop, the tattoo business in Northeastern Pennsylvania, developing an artistic style, his favorite tattoos that he's done over the years, his own tattoos as well, what goes into planning and running a tattoo convention, his artwork outside of tattooing, and much more. So please stay tuned for the full hour. We would love to hear from you guys down in the comments below. So anything that you want to add to the conversation, anything you might want to know about tattooing, about Elijah, please leave that down below. We would love to hear from you. And like and share the video, all that good stuff. If you want to see these things continue to pop up in your feed, let's try to get some positive stuff out there. We were literally just talking about how toxic Facebook and other social media platforms can be. So like, if you want to actually hear something good and people doing cool stuff in the community, we want you to actually be able to see that. And the only way you can do that is if you tell the algorithm gods that this is what you want to see.
My curiosity is piqued over like if someone has something negative to say. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean,
and that's the thing is
I don't want to open a can of worms. But.
I always tell people I would have it 1,000 times easier if all I did was just post negative stuff all day and just hated on the area and spread rumors about people and all this other kind of shit. I would absolutely have millions and more viewers and things like that. That's just not what I want to do.
Yeah,
and I
no,
just feel
okay,
like
I shouldn't invite that in. I'm sorry.
Every other media outlet is doing that. I mean, hey, right now we got the Wilkes-Barre cops literally right outside here arresting somebody or doing something up there. I don't think it's a live PD day though. So before we dive in, I just want to thank Josh Balls for letting us use his recording studio. He's the owner of the Strange and Unusual Oddities Parlor in Kingston, as well as Noir Dark Spirits in Scranton. His latest venture is Legacy Studios. So go follow them on Instagram at Legacy Recording PA and book a recording session at legacyrecordingpa.com. Also, we want to give a special thanks to our sponsor, merchbooth.com, for providing all of the audio and video equipment that powers the NEPA Scene Podcast. Merch Booth helps entertainers, podcasters, and influencers create and sell merch online. If you already have designs, you can get started right now for free. However, if you prefer to have Merch Booth create some kick-ass designs along with over $1,000 in annual benefits, you can become a Merch Booth VIP member for only $19.99 a month. Learn more and sign up at merchbooth.com, and make sure to check out NEPA Scene on Merch Booth while you're there. All right. So I'd imagine you don't just kind of decide to become an artist one day. So like what were maybe some of your kind of first artistic influences or things that maybe inspired you to be an artist in general?
Okay, just like younger years.
Yes.
Definitely like, middle school, high school, still a child. Read a lot of comic books, was super into like Todd McFarlane, Spawn.
Nice.
Some Marvel stuff, mostly Todd McFarlane stuff though. I really like that stuff for how detailed it was.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of that. And then an uncle of mine had a bunch of like kind of wild tattoos, and then went to a lot of like punk rock shows. And like when you're like the young person at the shows, all like the older cool kids have like tattoos. So I don't know, it kind of gets it gets you interested in that respect,
Right.
So I'd say those couple of things. Yeah, mostly comic books and going to shows, and seeing the cool kids, like I said. Yeah, definitely like early influence there. Had some good art teachers too in school, helped, and I don't know, it was a supportive group of people behind me as well. So,
right.
Yeah, that definitely helped. I don't know. My parents signed me up for like my first apprenticeship, 2 apprenticeships in, right? First apprenticeship was at like a real rough place in my hometown where like in hindsight, like I'm certain that like the people were pretty into like heavy drugs and anyway, but like my parents dropped me off there when I was like 16 and were like, have fun like learning how to tattoo, Elijah, which I don't know, they trusted me and they knew I wasn't like an don't know, wasn't interested in drugs. So,
Nice.
you know, yeah. Weird experience, but yeah. So work at dirty tattoo shops in my hometown,
And where is that?
That's Newfoundland.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty, I don't know, half an hour east of Scranton, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, little tiny town. Yeah, nice place.
What did you pick up there? Starting out.
Certainly some stuff like how not to do.
I was just gonna say what
how
not
to
to
not
do,
conduct myself, I guess. This place like doesn't exist anymore, and I'm
Right.
pretty sure the people that I was learning under have since like passed away as well. I'm like pretty sure. Just so you know, like I don't know.
Yeah, we're not trying
talking shit on the living. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, just a place in my hometown. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
You said you picked up maybe what not to do there. Did your next
yeah.
apprenticeship maybe kind of teach you?
Yeah,
some of the
definitely.
things
Like the next group of people definitely steered me in a much the right direction, you know, and that was exotic body arts. Shop doesn't exist anymore either in Scranton.
Yeah, I do remember that place.
Yeah, a couple guys working there taught me how. Joe, Bones, Spider-Man, and all like bunch of wild good dudes, and I don't know, taught me the foundation of tattooing, you know. So pretty cool. Yeah.
Do you remember doing any of those early pieces?
Yeah, a couple of them still stick out to me. Definitely the ones that like went really bad, because they do that like when you're early on in tattooing, and especially like we're also talking like pre-internet, like not too much like information on the internet. Now like there's a lot of information on the internet,
right?
Unfortunately,
some might say too much.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe a little too much. I don't know. I mean, even as like I hate to say it, even as like a 20-year tattooer, I now get like little like TikTok videos in my Instagram feed where like it's like something I didn't know, and I'm like, oh, like I didn't like realize that shit.
Okay.
Yeah. So still, I don't know. There's still stuff to learn apparently. But yeah, so before the internet, you know, it was kind of struggle city as far as like, you know, if the equipment was a little more difficult to use, the equipment has gotten a little easier as well. So yeah, some of those early tattoos, yeah, a couple were like, I like had to take a break and like go like cry in the bathroom a little because like it's just not going right. They all go good now, just to be clear, you know, for anybody listening.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, all of them, 100% smooth sail.
Some of those off on screen as well. So,
all right, great.
Yes, he's definitely come a long way.
Yeah, as far as some of those early stories go, there's a couple characters too that really stick out. I don't know if there was a do I tell a couple of stories about like these older folks, you know, like there was a guy Smoker who I used to tattoo who was like a huge, scary, kind of in the biker scene older guy.
Okay.
And like back then I really was not like a confident dude at all. So meeting that type of person is like so scary.
Yeah, that's intimidating.
Yeah, he had me do like a bunch of tattoos on him. Even like he was like a rough, tough dude, and he'd show up, he'd start getting tattooed, and he'd like fall asleep while getting tattooed, and then start really audibly snoring, like really going for it. And so like, yeah, I always remember that. Yeah, just tattooing on some dude who's like snoring really loudly. Wild, yeah, wildly tough dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember the first tattoo I did on a girl that I was working with. We used to work at like a restaurant in my hometown, and so once I started my apprenticeship, she was like willing to let me like practice a little, basically. I did one on her, and I remember that, you know, it looked good at first, and then, you know, you see her a couple weeks later, and it had like not healed well at all, you know. So it sucks. Yeah,
it happens.
It does. Yeah, early on. Yeah. Yeah, just I don't know. Yeah, it's a couple good early memories, I guess, you know.
Now, as a kid, did you draw a lot? Were you like an illustrator at all? Or?
Yeah, well, always trying to draw. I was saying I like was into Todd McFarlane and the Spawn comics, and like always trying to kind of replicating a lot of stuff. I think that does help earlier on when you're starting to just draw, like just copying artists that are great. And I mean, they have you do that like in art school, you know, you're copying like the masters. So it's like,
yeah,
I don't know, why not copy like comic book masters, you know? Yeah. So a lot of that, certainly, you know, I always tried to scoop up the art classes when I was in high school. I remember taking AP fine art, but like bad at like following precise directions. So I ended up getting a D actually. I was like, that sucks. I got a D in art class, but
Yeah.
I don't know. If you don't put your name on stuff correctly, then they like they deduct points basically. Yeah, that sucked. But yeah, always trying to take art classes, draw on my free time in high school. A lot of doodling. Yeah, it was fun. Art club. I used to stay after school and paint and draw with like a couple old friends. That was super fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I think back in that '90s comic book artwork, which we all loved at the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many people came out of that with the weirdest idea of what proportion should be?
That's true. Yeah.
After that,
yeah, I remember Todd McFarlane doing some kind of like wacky stuff with proportions. And,
yeah.
That's true.
And Todd can get away with it a little bit more because obviously he just kept kind of having success and whatever. You know, some of the other stuff may not as like aged as well. The tiny feet, the tiny waist, giant like chests, and like the belt thing. You know, there was 1,000 belts and straps.
Yeah,
every one of them had little tiny pockets.
Yeah, that sounds cool still to me.
At no point did those ever come into play in the story. Like at no point did somebody take out something from one of those pockets. And I have the thing to save the day. Like they just had them. And it was just part of the uniform for whatever reason. It was
off camera. They're digging. You know?
Yeah, I'm assuming like snacks, things like that in between.
Like gummies and delicious.
Yeah, I'm still nostalgic for that stuff anyway. So it's funny to look back on some of that. And like, oh yeah, this is hard, fine art right here.
Yeah, definitely is. Well, I mean, I feel like it still is.
I think I think some of it. Yeah, some of it has aged better than other stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's true. Yeah. Stopped collecting Spawn though, unfortunately. I don't know. I still have all my old comics, but I quit it.
I'm a Marvel guy, so I still collect, I don't collect as much as I would like, of course. I mean, does any collector really?
Yeah, right.
You run out of room and stuff like that. You run out of money and whatever. But yeah, I collect here and there, and I like collecting the figures too.
Yeah, a lot of cool toys.
Also, thing that gives you weird proportions of things too. Like the toys we had growing up were so weird, and then today they're really trying to like make them so realistic, and it's interesting to see how much that has changed. Yeah,
that's really true.
So anyone who's kind of older than 30 could probably tell you that tattoos weren't always accepted by the general public, and they're still not completely, of course, but there's kind of they're way more acceptable than they used to be. Did you run into that at all when you were starting out?
Oh, I've had it pretty easy, to be honest. Not too much. Well, I mean, I wanted to go on from high school and immediately become a tattoo artist. So it's like you need or want to have tattoos. So I never had to run into like where I'm doing a job interview and I'm nervous about not getting the job. I've certainly had like clients run into that issue, or other people in my life who they want to wear a lot of tattoos but can't because of work.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy now to see like how accepted it's becoming, and like I don't know, like you get like nurses with like face tattoos now. Like I see more people with face tattoos, which is like kind of like a wild thing.
Yeah.
I guess like I do still like hesitate to get heavily tattooed like below my sleeves and up my neck and stuff. I feel like I only actually just got my first neck tattoo just a couple of months ago.
Oh wow.
From my guy Aaron that I taught him how to tattoo, and then he headed back down to North Carolina to tattoo down there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I got to visit him and get tattooed. But took the plunge, and now I have a neck tattoo. I feel a lot more like badass now. Actually, it is pretty cool. Yeah.
It is kind of empowering, isn't it?
A little bit, just like a little bit. Yeah. But my parents still. I mean, like I guess I hesitate to get the really exposed tattoos because I also like. My parents don't want me to do that, and I just like respect their wishes. Basically, I'm like, okay, like, but I am 40 now, so I don't know. But even they saw the neck tattoo and they were like, "Don't let it go like any higher. Don't add any more to that, Elijah." So it was pretty.
It's great that your parents though were so accepting early on about being a tattoo artist.
Yeah, I I don't know, I wouldn't have been like successful without them. They, you know, they supported me with the first apprenticeship at the like kind of crackhead tattoo shop in, in Newfoundland. And even then the second tattoo shop after the first like failed experience, basically, they were still like, okay, go to Scranton and find a shop over there. And even that time around, they were, you know, typically you would, a lot of places will make you pay for an apprenticeship, and the place I went to made me pay, and I didn't have any money, so my parents paid for my apprenticeship, basically. So
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big admit. Yeah. So
what was it that made you say that you wanted to do tattoo art specifically?
Early on, like before tattooing, that's a hard question to answer, because I realize now, like having gotten into tattooing and experiencing it for so long, it's just like not what you imagine, really. Like, yeah, I do tattoos, and you just kind of say that, but like you don't realize like how much you're going to be hanging out with other people, and like you can't do a tattoo without like another person like being here hanging out with you, you know. So it's like, I don't know, that idea where like a lot of artists like to be alone and be like doing their own thing on their own, and just nobody's talking to them. They're just making what they make and they're happy, you know. And tattooing's not like that, you know. It's not that I'm not happy, but like again, you're hanging out with a person, they're in pain. That adds like a whole like other dynamic to the experience, because you're trying to do the tattoo, you're trying to enjoy being an artist and create, but then you're also like coaching this person kind of through these different like levels of pain as the tattoo progresses, you know. Which is like, yeah. So like it's a lot bigger than you realize like before you start, I guess. Or I guess like that's any job, you know. Also, you get into it and you're like, you didn't realize like all the layers to it, you know. So
it's interesting. It is such a social thing when you think about it.
Yeah,
something
truly.
You kind of have to have a personality of some kind that maybe people are,
I guess so.
With, or
I don't know. I'm
attracted to, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty quiet when I tattoo, actually. So like, I think about that a lot too, because I'm always like, man, I hope like whoever I'm tattooing isn't like bored out of their mind, just because like I'm not really chit chatting today, you know. So
well, I mean, everybody just puts their head in their phone now. So is that what people do now?
A lot of them do. Which and as I don't know. It's funny because as that turned into a societal acceptance, you know. It was hard at first, because like a part of me is like, this person's like on their phone, like why aren't we like chit chatting and like even though I just said I don't like to talk, but like, you know, why aren't we I don't know, at least like connecting a little bit. And I don't know, I realize that's just like that's what people like to do now, and that's also like what can help them like cope with the pain again, or because it just that part of it is kind of a bitch.
So over the years, do you think you've kind of developed a signature style or something that you've kind of become known for?
I think I've developed a signature style, but I don't think I've become really known. Actually, you know, I don't know. I mean, I find when I sit down, if I have to draw something and I don't have a reference, it's just like kind of coming out of my brain. Then there's definitely like little things that I like to do that like are. Yeah, just the little things about art that I find appealing, you know. A lot of tattoo art is not like that though, really, because at the heart of it, it's a commercial job. So I have a client who comes in, they maybe have already seen a tattoo on the internet, and so like they kind of want me to replicate things and kind of I don't want to say copy, but copy. You know, so a lot of times in those instances, I don't know, you don't get to be like Elijah Birtel, the artist. You got to be like Elijah Birtel, the tattoo artist, who just like make an image or replicate an image, you know?
Right.
So, but it's not a bad thing, but yeah, I do find, when I draw on my own, there's little traits that come out, you know? I love gnarly little like finger waves. Do you know what I'm talking about by chance? Or little tiny waves, a lot of that.
Here, well, you know, we'll put some up on the screen. Of just ones I pulled off your Instagram recently.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Some of the more recent
so we got this one
here.
Yeah,
that one that was one I really liked doing, actually. And actually, so that was one that was like a drawing of mine that I did. Actually, I did that drawing probably like 6 to 8 years ago.
Okay.
And sometimes the drawings just like they hang out for a while until you find that right person who's like, oh, that's the one I've been kind of.
Okay.
You know,
so you got this piece kind of ready to go almost.
Kind of,
you got to
definitely.
match up with the person, really.
Yeah. And actually, I mean, to be honest, too, this is on somebody who I've tattooed like countless times at this point, and now like, I don't know, after you go for a while, usually people also become more receptive to you as an artist, not just a tattoo artist.
Right,
and
yeah,
so then they're like,
you.
oh, do you maybe have some drawings you'd like to do? And then you can kind of finally like whip it out, whip out the drawings.
Yes,
and
of course.
Yeah, and show them what you want to do. Yeah. So yeah, anything like cool nature themed stuff like that, I love. I mean, this is like, it's supposed to be like a tree lady made of leaves and roots. Yeah, stuff like that. Anything really like that I can draw some inspiration from like the outdoors. I love that kind of stuff.
There's one.
Spooky castle.
Yeah, and it's kind of floating and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
and then so this guy brought me like probably pictures, maybe like 3 or 4 pictures of like other castles and tattoos that he liked, and then so I just like pulled different pieces of them and kind of made our own, So this one's almost like a combination of like not pure freedom with drawing, but also not like completely constrained. Where again, the client has given me at least like a little bit of freedom, to try to do some of the things that I like to do,
Okay.
Yeah. So Spooky Castle, that one was super fun. Yeah.
I liked this guy here.
That tattoo.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting.
With the
strawberries. And
yeah,
stuff.
crawling up some strawberries. Yeah, and those obviously like those were like elements that the client requested. But yeah, any animal tattoos that I get to do, I love that kind of stuff. Furry little bats, stuff with cool like black eyes, where there's like a little shine in the eye.
Yeah,
that's always like super fun to do. Yeah, so, yeah, she did good too. I think that was her first tattoo. I'm pretty sure. This is like a Marine now cop that I tattoo, and the skull is from someone else's tattoo. He had brought me pictures of somebody else's tattoo, so we borrowed a little bit.
Sure.
I'm sorry to that original tattoo artist who just took it from you. Sorry. I did a good job. I hope maybe he'll see it. Maybe he or she will see it and be like, he didn't do terrible even though he stole that shit from me. So, yeah. Sorry about that again.
But like incorporated into this kind of the grave.
Yeah. So then, there's a grave below that, and actually, this guy has now like continued, and we're almost at a full sleeve with him, where he got like the eagle globe and anchor down on his forearm, and a big dragon now too. Yeah, super fun stuff. I love dragons also. Any scary monster. Yeah, anything with scales and spikes and teeth. Yeah.
I got this wizard guy.
I just actually tattooed that guy again the other day.
Okay.
So like cool wizard guy though.
Like
this one I kind of like, too, because this guy he gave me a bit of artistic freedom again, and so like I got to put it almost like in there's almost like a little V shape where like it frames him out with like the negative shapes.
Okay.
And like stuff like that too. It works well in tattooing, I think, because like contrast works really well in tattooing. And so like once you start to try to maybe incorporate some of these like negative shapes, they end up like looking really cool, So.
Yeah, and it really follows the shape of, I'm assuming that's an arm.
The forearm definitely, like when you kind of like flatten it out, almost like coffin shaped or like really elongated diamond shaped. So like draw your tattoo within that shape, and it should kind of be pleasing once it's on the body, Yeah.
We got
kind of like
this one I thought was very interesting.
This one was
mixture of ideas here.
Yeah, definitely. What was she was supposed to be though?
It's kind of like the
Justice. It was like a blind justice. That's right. But she's kind of like a little zombified. I think this was from somebody had brought me like a pretty direct reference, or like the picture of that, and they were kind of like, I like this, maybe add just a little something.
Okay.
And I think we maybe just added like a little bit of like the goopiness to it, or like the drippies. But for the most part, this was something where like I didn't necessarily draw it, just kind of like took it from an image and tried to replicate it. So it was a fun little one though. Yeah.
One more. I thought the style of this was pretty.
The sketchy one. So this lady, you can see like on the right, like there's that one's markered on. So like she's basically just to do it, I drew them all on, and then like make sure I just like tattoo it in kind of a sketchy style where my lines are
Yeah. I thought that was so cool. That was such a great idea.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, that was definitely, it was her idea. You know, she kind of asked for something that wasn't so like just straight on like bold tattooing, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I like doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, you pulled it off really well. I love the way that the color is just kind of a little bit in there, but not, it's not all colored in.
Oh, that's all. That's the Sharpie. Yeah. So she took a shower and that was all gone.
So the left part.
Yeah, it's just the black, the black and the gray tones are there. You know, you might see like some pinkish lines, but most likely those are just gray lines where the pink is you're seeing like the irritated skin. Yeah.
Well, the comic book art too got me used to appreciating that style of like the sketching.
Yeah. Right.
Because I'll go to conventions and stuff and get sketches from the artists and stuff. And it's cool to see like, oh, there's a line where they messed up and they fixed it. Or here's a part where they erased. Yeah. Here's a part where like, oh, they just drew this general thing and then they turned it in this beautiful detail. And it's just, it's so interesting just to be able to see the process.
Yeah.
Even if you're not watching it directly.
Yeah.
You can see it in the after, if they're not cleaning it up totally.
Yeah.
I kind of like it when it's a little more of that, dirty leftover, the marks and stuff in it and things like that. I think that's really cool.
That does have like an appeal to it. Even I find as far as like a tactic that I'll use when I'm showing someone a drawing before I tattoo them.
Yeah.
If I've done like an underlying sketch, a lot of times I will show them the drawing with the underlying sketch because it will give it a little more shape. It will, when you show people just an outline and then there's no shading, again, this is like before the tattoo, it's just like the preliminary drawing.
Right.
But if there's no shading, there's nothing that separates the shapes. It's all just line work. A lot of people's brains are not, that's not the way they think, they're not able to separate those shapes. So yeah, you show it with the sketch in there. A lot of times it's going to help them to like understand the design a lot more, so. So yeah, I know what you mean. You leave a little bit of that. It gives it like a little,
especially that motion. A lot of
you can
like
see a little of that energy almost. Or the intended energy. Yeah, that's always pretty cool too. Yeah.
So let's see. What are are there any ones that stick out to you as favorite pieces that you've done?
Oh yeah, over the years, yeah. Years ago when I was working at Sling and Ink, there was a girl who got like it was like a heart with like it was like a heart with a baby in it, and the bottom of the heart was like kind of like a cervix. It was really cool though, and actually I had some of like Rich is talking about some of those like underlying lines, and it kind of had some of those. So it was only like softball size. It wasn't a huge tattoo. Yeah, that was a really neat one. There was a big back piece I did years ago on a lady I used to work with, and it was like a cat wearing a crown with like a big glowing leaf. We actually never got to finish it because it was like her whole back basically.
Yeah.
Then just a ton of work, and she unfortunately passed away as well. So, but it was a really cool tattoo. So, yeah, it was neat. Bigger back pieces. I remember a bunch of those. There was a cool like big full back wizard tattoo that I got to do at the current shop. A few sleeves, like big dragons down people's arms. Remember my buddy Victor's sleeve. He had a big like kind of just Japanese forearm sleeve, but a lot of like green finger wave water everywhere. That was really cool. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Hope we get to do some crazy ones soon.
One of the things mentioned it kind of a little bit before, but there's kind of a unique pressure in what you do as an artist because it's going to be on a person. It's not like you think of a typical artists, they put something on a canvas or an illustration or whatever, then put it in a frame and then maybe hope people buy it or put it on a wall in a gallery, something like that. It's interesting to think about your pieces kind of walking around somewhere out there.
Yeah, that can be it's like exciting and intimidating, and I don't know, it wears a lot of hats, I guess, just because like we're talking about the tattoos that I did when I first started, and like those tattoos like still exist. So, that kind of sucks. Like, not that I don't want them to exist, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But but yeah, I mean, but then, you lay out a couple that you feel really good about and very confident about. And like, yeah, it's nice when they're like out walking around, especially like once or twice I've gotten the opportunity where like I see somebody who I tattooed and they're like talking to their friend, and I like see them show the tattoo to their friend, and their friend's like, that's so cool, dude. And I'm like a creeper in the background, basically, like, yeah, compliment me, so I don't know. That's been fun. Yeah, that's been a fun experience. Just a couple times that's happened. But yeah, it does. It feels good. It definitely feels good to tattoo people and for them to wear some of your artwork, especially feeds your ego when I get to do a little like my own artwork as well. Yeah, it is really neat. But as far as pressure goes, though, I would almost say at this point, like I try to take that pressure and more so, I don't know, not to sound like a hoity-toity dude, but like, it's the idea of respect. This person has come to you, they want you to tattoo them, they trust you to tattoo them, and now they are entrusting you with like, kind of like their most precious thing, which is like their body, so it's like, if you like fuck up a little bit, like that's really bad. So, not just, on a kind of a wild level. And yeah, you want people to like walk out feeling not only like they had a good experience in that moment, but now like, hopefully they're going to wear that tattoo and like feel good and confident, and that tattoo is not going to like remove any of that from them, or like, or detract from them as a person. It's going to add to them. So hopefully that's the goal, ideally, so, yeah, it does still feel like pressure, to be clear, but I try to make up other words that might, that might apply to that,
Right.
Yeah. Or use other words. Yeah.
So you were one of the guys who opened the shop of Electric City Tattoo in Scranton, which has been around
we're like since like 2008-ish, so we're hitting, I don't know, 10, 15 years or so, somewhere around there. So it's been a pretty good chunk of time. There are other tattoo shops in the area that have been here longer, but we're trying to stick around.
I felt like you guys have just been, kind of a staple.
Yeah, we've been around for a long time. And then we eventually I had 3 other business partners. Eventually we were able to branch out, open this other store over here in Wilkes-Barre. And then, like I was saying before the interview, as the pandemic does, causes some division.
Right.
So yeah, now we're back down to, I'm down with I've got one business partner now, and we own just the Electric City shop in Scranton, which I'm like so into, because like I'm not a multi-business dude. Like I don't know, I want to like do tats and go home and like enjoy my life. Like I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not an absolute madman like Josh Balls, who has
just taking on
10 different projects at all times.
So,
and
I've met a couple other people of that nature, entrepreneurs. And, I think it's a good word, but I can't apply it to myself.
I'm not
I want to.
Yeah, I would consider myself a reluctant entrepreneur.
All right.
Just, as an, I want to do this specific thing. And all the companies around here that do that thing are fucking awful to work for. So I have to do it myself.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is just not going to work.
I don't know. That's a good like independent attitude, though. You're gonna get out. You're gonna do what you need to do.
Yeah, I did my time working for the big guys around here, and just realized like it's not for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I should be doing this instead. So. So it's good to kind of be in business for yourself. How did that come about? Was that always the dream from the beginning, or is that something you fell into when you met the right people, or how did
I would say that fell into it, met the right people, because like, I didn't really like when I first started tattooing, there wasn't like I wasn't sitting there like dreaming of owning my own shop. And I don't know if that's a good thing to dream about, like in the beginning of tattooing, It's good to work for a few people. It's good to work with a bunch of people. Even earlier on in my tattooing career, I did a lot of tattoo conventions, which was like super fun. I met a lot of like cool, crazy people, got a lot of information that way. Again, like because the internet is in its infancy, that was a good route to go, just like getting to meet people and swapping ideas. And yeah, it was very helpful. Yeah. Wait, what was the question again? Shit.
being an owner. That was
okay, yeah, and then
into, and
as far as
you met the right people.
Met a couple people. Yeah, met my guys at Sling and Ink, Woody, Mike, and Nick. That's who we started out with, and then we all decided that we did want our own thing. We wanted to be in charge of ourselves as far as tattoo artists go, and so we opened our shop up. We had Amy Larkin with us at the time, and five people tattooing and piercing, and I don't know. It was wild. It was fun in the beginning. Yeah, it's still fun.
So you've been tattooing over 20 years at this point.
Yeah, a little over 20 years. Yeah.
So what keeps you kind of motivated or interested in continuing to do that? Because some people, I know that they do something for so long, eventually it's like, oh God, I can't even think about doing that anymore. I have to move on to something else.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever. So like, what maybe keeps you in that business, or keeps you interested, or maybe keeps it fun?
Yeah. Well, I still enjoy. What makes it fun? I still enjoy it every day. I know that's not a good answer, but I get to go to work, and like every day I'm like, this is like, it's generally a good day. I'm happy. There's I have very few bad days, which is pretty awesome, actually.
That's a thing not a lot of people can say about what they do.
I've met people who have jobs who then have constant bad days, and I know I'm like, I better not like leave what I got. So, because like I see that other person and they seem kind of miserable.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't want to be miserable. That sucks. So yeah, I'd say just like that, like it's a constant reward, not just like, it's a constant reward. It really is. And getting to tattoo people, just getting to put your art on people, getting to make art for a living. That's like, I don't know. It's kind of a rare thing. So
yeah, I was gonna say I would, especially these days. You can't. I would hope you don't get replaced by AI and everything else. The things
I
that
think
people
that's
are worried about.
I feel like
now.
That's like right after I die. They're gonna machines will be precise enough to like make tabs.
Yeah, they're just gonna have a machine that will be able to.
Like in Starship Troopers, Yeah.
See, I will only accept it if they have if they're droids that have personalities like Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah.
Then I'll be okay with like if
we're
C-3PO's trying to give you a tattoo and he's like very nervous about it the whole time and stuff. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun. Yeah, there'd be something to that. Might be enjoyable.
Yeah.
We're probably pretty close to that, actually. We're closer than like I want to believe, basically. Yeah. I know they can make the images, like they just need like the dexterity, and they don't have the dexterity.
Yeah, they're not there with the hands yet. It's got to be close. Very funny to watch.
Yeah, we're getting close though. So
yeah, we are.
I don't know. We'll see. See what happens out of all that.
So and I was thinking about this, and I was sure. Yeah, I guess I'll ask that because it's something that I think about. So I'm coming up on 40. I'm finding as I get older that, everything makes me hurt now. I sit down at the computer for 8-10 hours a day. My back hurts. My neck hurts.
You can't sit that long.
Whatever. Yeah. You're doing this, all the time. You're sitting there, you're hunched over in kind of interesting, weird positions. Does that ever lead to health issues? Or anybody that
as
has,
far as like turning 40,
physical health issues and things like that?
Yeah, as you get older, you just can't I don't know. Young people can sit for hours, but now I got to get up. I got to get up every hour to 2 hours and move around, which I don't. As long as my client doesn't mind me taking a quick 2 to 5 minute break, that's fine. The problem there actually is that I find breaks. I don't think taking breaks in tattooing is good because every time you take a break, your clients I feel like the pain kind of increases by 10%. And so then every break you take, you get this kind of exponential pain buildup,
Right.
So you can only take a couple breaks. But I got to stop. My hands have been bothering me lately, and I don't know.
Yeah, I would think
just getting old.
Yeah, I do the weed whacker and stuff, and after a while, the vibrating, it hurts your hands. And I'm thinking geez, with the gun all day
it's
that,
not,
the tattoo machine, is that
it's not nearly as significant of a vibration as a weed whacker per se. For me, it's that I'm a curmudgeon and I won't switch over to there's plastic tubes now. I use all metal tubes, but they're kind of heavy. They make the machine heavier, and it's destroying my hands. But I'm not going to change.
Of course not.
Yeah, so
you're a man and you're in this.
Yeah, this is how I've been doing it. I will not change. Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's pretty true. Yeah. So, but these problems are they're only coming out this year, and I just turned 40. And it's
wow.
like, yeah.
So
So I've been good up until then. And actually, honestly, this year I kind of I don't know, kind of let myself go a little. Like I was real into doing yoga, kind of fell off the yoga train. Haven't been doing my exercise, and you got to do all that. Like you got to do the maintenance if you don't want to be sore and I don't know, hurt later on.
Right.
Yeah. Which maintenance sucks. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that makes you sore too, just in a different way,
Yeah, I kind of, yeah. Maybe in just a more tolerable way. Than, I don't know.
So let's talk about your tattoos that you have on your own body. What was your first tattoo that you got?
First non-professional tattoo was that I tattooed myself in high school with like a sewing needle and some Indian ink that I stole from art class and get myself a little cool arm tattoo. Couldn't even you got to stretch when you tattoo, so I'm stretching with the side of my hand and poking like this, right?
Right.
And I swear to God, I have a quarter size tattoo, and that shit took 3 hours.
Oh,
and you know what it was? So back to I was talking about you learn to tattoo because cool kids. You meet some cool kids with some tattoos.
Mm.
There were a bunch of kids in my science class, older kids, and they were a bunch of drug addicts with tattoos, and me, younger kids, I'm gonna impress these fucking druggies with tats, so that I can get in this social group. So I give myself a crappy little tattoo.
Right.
It didn't work. Luckily, I didn't get in the social group.
Well, that's good.
So yeah, it was actually I'm glad I didn't get in that.
I'm not doing drugs, but hey, look what I got.
Shit, yeah, I still have it too. I didn't cover it or anything. I kind of like it still. I don't know. It's not a good tattoo, just to be clear, but it's sentimental. So that's the first one. I've let, as far as a couple first ones, let a friend or two from high school when I had some tattoo equipment, I let them tattoo me. I do still have those tattoos. They're not good also. Just to be clear, you can get tattoo equipment, but it doesn't mean your tats are going to look good.
Right.
Yeah, so the first couple were amateur stuff, and you're just kind of toying around, seeing what happens, and then you slowly start to understand, I guess, what the world of professional tattooing looks like. And it was definitely a progression for me because, did my home tats on myself and then got my job I was talking about the dirty little tattoo place in my hometown. And that was a weird, rough experience. And then from there went to a more even a shop after that was a little bit more professional. And then, and now I think I understand what professional tattooing is. I'm pretty sure. I think.
I would hope so, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
So are they done by a lot of your friends then? Are you very specific about the artists that you have do your tattoos? I
feel currently a good majority of the tattoos I have are from tattoo artists that I've met and kind of formed a little bit of a bond with. And I was yeah, I definitely want a tattoo from this person, and that makes them, I don't know, that makes them kind of special, because you get tattoos from people you've had a couple little experiences with,
Yeah.
Which can be pretty cool. I've sought out a couple tattoo artists that I didn't know at all, and I traveled to get tattooed and did that a whole handful of times. I still want to do that. There's still a couple people that I'm definitely interested in getting something tattooed by. Which I need to pull a trigger on that because I don't know. I'm the kind of person I'll sit here and be I want to do that, and I'll do that. I'll say that shit until I'm 80, so I won't do it. So good follow through. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So are these more detailed, complicated type tattoos that have all this metaphorical meaning, or are they just kind of more fun stuff that you enjoy getting? It just looks cool,
Yeah,
what is your style, I guess, or what kind of things do you like?
Or the style of tattooing that I gravitate toward. Yeah. Certainly, probably a little more on the illustrative side. I got a Randy Hall tattoo that's really good. That has he almost I would describe his stuff as illustrative tattooing with just hints of Japanese tattooing, basically. Okay. Really good stuff though. Really nice, clear, very legible tattoos. They're not overly intricate. I don't think I could sit through like a really intricate tattoo actually. Like if I'm only getting like a baseball size tattoo,
Yeah.
and if that would take like 8 hours, I don't think I'd be down for that.
Wow,
You know,
okay.
like I don't know. Yeah, which I can't get tattooed for 8 hours anyway. So, but yeah, yeah, not intricate. I don't know if I can. Oh, I got this like from my guy in Syracuse, Jamola. I gotta look at him to like remember what I have. I got a Tengu with like a snotty nose. I don't know. That's like,
okay.
Tengus are like the original martial artists in Japan. Basically, they're like bird creatures. Even funnily enough, I got this like tiny baby head tattoo on my arm. And then actually like I got from Mike Skyver, who like he spins a wheel and you pick your whatever the wheel lands on, you get.
Oh, that's.
But I wanted to get that because I wanted to have like a sneaky conversation with him about like tattoo machines. So I was just trying to get in with this. Like he's like an old tattooer, kind of like intimidating and kind of a little rough and So I had to. I don't know. I was trying to finagle information out of him. Wait, what was that?
Sailor Jerry type.
Yeah, kind of traditional style. Yeah. On my other arm, I've got a bunch of like. This is all like Joe Capobianco, who like he's been like a well-known tattoo artist for a long time, but definitely has kind of his own. He's got his own style that I feel like not very many people are like doing anymore. You know, so a lot of like big smooth shading, a lot of naked ladies also. But yeah, big smooth shading is how I would describe his stuff. But I definitely like Japanese stuff. I got a big peony in there. This from like Phil Yamaguchi from like Super 88, which I don't know if that tattoo shop exists anymore. The glasses tattoo, which is a thing. That's a thing. Oh, I don't want any of you non-tattoo artists to get this, but if you want some inside info, it's the glasses tattoo is for tattoo artists who have glasses. It just means like you got glasses and you tattoo. So I don't know. That's it. You'll note if you see other glasses tattoo artists, you'll see they might like have the little glasses on them.
Okay. I'll have to look out for that.
Yeah, I got like a giant side piece that still needs to be finished, and I'm actually covered in like unfinished tattoos also. So just the bigger ones, I can't sit through them. So
always a work in progress.
Yeah, never ending. Yeah, that's so true.
And you also do some artwork outside of tattooing.
Yeah, I try to. I like to paint and draw. Certainly, making like 2-dimensional art. Making stuff on I use an iPad a lot now, and trying to make some digital art here and there. I got to draw the convention posters this year, which was super fun. Oh, cool. I'm glad Woody lets me do that. It is super fun.
I can put that right up on.
Oh yeah, please. So I got to draw this like crazy poster.
Super detailed.
Yeah, I probably made it like a little too detailed, but here we are. Whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, cool, like frog tattoo and a fairy kind of. So yeah, I like that kind of stuff. Again, nature-y kind of themed, and then the frog kind of has like Japanese style tattoos. So I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm slowly trying to mesh those two, nature and some like Japanese style theme stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you still like do you draw on a regular basis? Or
yeah, I definitely still try to like sketch and draw pretty often. I haven't, God, I hate to admit that I haven't actually like completed a piece of artwork now, other than like the convention poster and like some merch for the shop. It's been a while since I've like completed a painting, and I think about it a lot. Constantly like wanting to get back to it. I don't know. I got a lot of hobbies, so
nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, I do still try to sketch and draw. I always take my sketchbook with me if I'm gonna go for like I like walk in the woods. A lot of local game land that is like fun to walk as long as nobody's out there hunting. You're totally safe.
Right.
You take a little sketchbook and I don't know, find yourself a spot to sit and sketch and write some poems. And, I don't know, quips and stuff. It's fun. Yeah.
So let's get into the convention itself. There are over 200 artists. At least that's what I counted on.
I think
website.
About that. We'll say like 180 to 200, somewhere in that area. Some people roll up with an extra person or two. I want to say 1 or 2 people have gotten sick actually, and maybe aren't coming. But still, it's about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you have, obviously, Woody is a big part of the organization and stuff too. What is your role, or has your role kind of changed or whatever?
Oh yeah, my role has definitely changed over the years. Now my guy Woody he's the main organizer. Anybody who has booked anything that has to do with the convention, you've probably talked to Woody most likely. I don't think I could handle talking to that many people. I don't know. I get like all crazy when I get like 2 DMs in my Instagram. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, so no, talking to that many people is probably not for me. So I get, like I was saying, I got to draw the poster this year. I draw a T-shirt. Organize, like there's a whole crew of people who will come and like help us work the convention. A lot of friends and family. So a lot of them are coming out. So I try to organize them. I made the trophies. That was super fun. Last year and this year, we have like tattoo contests during the convention, and so I try to make the trophies by hand. They're a little bit more intricate than last year, so I'm hoping if I get to do them again next year, I'll make them like a little more intricate than this year. I'm learning, So yeah, I like making stuff just in general. Not I got to make the trophies. What the hell else did I do? I did a bunch of stuff, I swear. And just detailed stuff too. Now that we're like down to the final days, there's picking up last minute supplies that we need and just making sure everybody's still able to come and work with us. And and then during the convention, it's a lot of like corralling people, coordinating, picking up garbage, and helping folks from out of town, and making sure everybody's happy.
Yeah, so it's such a I love this, just kind of stop in and just kind of take it all in and just walk
it's like
around.
I don't know, organized chaos. Yeah, it is
yeah,
pretty awesome. I should say that, but yeah, it's pretty great.
And this is the 12th year, right?
I think this is the 11th one.
Okay,
I think I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Now I'm like,
I looked at the
12
website
or 11?
and it said 12. So
all right, let's go with the website then.
I went with 12th annual, but.
All right, I'm gonna count them when I get back to the shop.
See, here's the thing: is a lot of these annual events have been mixed up because of COVID.
That's exactly that's exactly what it did.
So it's like, do you count that year? Do you skip that year?
We
and
had
go to
it
the next year. Everybody's doing it differently.
Yeah, we had it all organized for 2020, like right before the shutdown.
Yeah,
and like I think it was like a week after the Scranton parade, and I remember they canceled the Scranton parade, and I was like, oh, if they cancel the Scranton parade over like a virus, like we're done. Which everybody was pretty bummed. Yeah, everybody was really sad, especially that it's for Woody. It's a lot of work initially. That setup of getting everybody lined up and in the proper booths and making sure everybody's happy is like it's a lot of work. So I was sorry to see my guys like put that work out and then it's nothing, so unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it sucked. I mean, it sucked for a lot of people, not just us. So,
so is it kind of, do you feel like it's a well-oiled machine at this point, or is it still pretty chaotic?
No, it's like we definitely understand like what we're doing and how to kind of coordinate people. And I don't want to say well-oiled machine. That's, I don't know, but yeah, it works well at this point though. We know what we're doing. Yeah. So yeah, we just hope everybody has a good time, Yeah. I want everybody to come to Scranton and not leave having had a bad time. And hopefully with some good tattoos,
Well, of course. What's your favorite part of these conventions?
Oh, the convention? I mean, I love just getting to see people that like, a bunch of them, I only see them at the convention. So it's super fun to see these people once a year. I do love that like my friends and family come out, and at this point, like we're in the last couple of years, like I feel like I haven't had a lot of chances to like hang with friends and family. And though we're like coordinating event, I do get to like at least hang with them a bit and see those people that I haven't seen in a while as well. Yeah. So really just like, like it's kind of like a, rekindling of friendships, and seeing people again. Yeah, I haven't seen for a year, or there's a bunch of other tattoo artists I see them here and there throughout the year, but like I don't know, the convention's like it's a special time, big meetup. Yeah, so
right.
I feel the convention, like there's a lot of good energy like that, a lot of good feel good energy is how it feels to me, and I definitely like that part. So yeah, and I don't know, as far as other favorite parts, like I guess just the idea we invite some tattoo artists that like, I don't know, I think are like legendary tattoo artists. And like, I don't know if other people feel that way, but like there's a couple of people coming this year that I'm like, yo, this is crazy that these dudes are like coming to Scranton to like hang and tattoo with us for the weekend,
Yeah.
So like, even though, even though I'm just some dude sneaking around, like I'm stoked that there's so many of these people here. Like, it's so cool. It's so cool that like they're willing to participate and again, come to Scranton because it's just, I've been in Scranton forever. So it's like, it's just Scranton to me. Like it's not that it's special, but you get used to it.
Yeah. Well, it's cool to bring those people in to Scranton.
Yeah.
To have
that too.
These people who are.
Yeah, actually it's funny because like, I feel like before I left to come here today, I've been riding like a crazy wave of stress because I'm like, this convention's coming up, freaking out. But right before I got here, went to a convenience store and I saw two people that I was like, these two people are out of towners. They're definitely here for the convention. I don't know who they were, but I was definitely like, these are convention goers. And that for some reason like got me super excited. I'm like, I don't know. I'm super excited for the convention now. Yeah. It just happened though. So yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's a fun event though.
All right. Well, the 12th annual Electric City Tattoo Convention takes over the Hilton Scranton Conference Center with over between 180 and 200 artists on Friday, April 14th through Sunday, April 16th. Tickets are available at the door. Any more details you want, just go to the Electric City Tattoo website, and all that stuff's on there. In fact, as I deal with this myself quite a bit, all the questions that you're commenting on the Electric City Tattoo Instagram or Facebook or whatever, they are all answered on the website.
Yeah,
please just go to the website and
thank you.
Yeah, these guys have a lot to do, so give them a break. I see that all the time. Every year, it's like the same question.
A lot of same questions, and there is a frequently asked questions portion of it.
For which people completely ignore, and they just put in the comments.
I get there's a lot of there's a lot of folks who don't necessarily know what a tattoo convention is. So it's a new thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's an interesting experience, especially if you're not specifically going there to get tattooed. You might end up getting tattooed anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. The contests are cool. You guys have had like different kinds of entertainment.
There's a couple of DJs that come out Saturday night, and then also Chris Carney will be playing some music as well. He's great local musician. So super good stuff. Yeah. His singing always makes me like a little bit weepy. Yeah.
And you can visit our photographer Jason Reed Miller. He will have his little photo booth that he does every year, with some very interesting and sometimes not safe for work pictures come out. So and we post them on the website anyway. The other guys don't do that. So enjoy those. By the way, they're not always what you think. So if you think, oh yeah, I'm going to see a whole bunch of boobies. It's other stuff. It's interesting. They're always fun and creative and capture people's personalities. I'll say, the wild and craziness of that weekend is usually captured in those photos. I look forward to that every year.
It's a good time.
So anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
No, just come to the convention, come hang out with us. Come and meet some of these like legendary tattoo artists. If you meet them, then like introduce me to them because I'm scared. But
that's like me
fun.
at a comic convention. I do that a lot.
I'm
super stoked to see these guys who are the creators. I guess that's the nerd in us. I guess is a lot of people go and they want to meet the celebrities. They want to see like the people who played those characters in movies and stuff. It's like that's cool. But I would much rather meet the guy who actually created them, or like the story. He wrote the story that's based on. He drew the cover that they used as reference for that. I would much rather meet those people.
Right? Yeah,
I'm much more into that.
Yeah,
because those guys are super underappreciated, and a lot of them are getting older. So like you never know when they might go. I mean, hell,
that's true. Yeah,
just a few years ago, we had Neil Adams in fucking Scranton.
Oh wow!
I never thought I would see. I see him at big conventions all the time, but I got to interview him and stuff, and it was such a great experience. He passed away, I think, last year,
right? Yeah,
or the year before. But
that's funny.
So
that's not funny, but
to have that, to have that experience,
I was.
And it's right there. It's right there.
Yeah,
so I encourage people to come down and just walk around the convention,
hang out. You could buy a pass early in the day. You can walk around. You can then leave the convention walk around Scranton a little bit. There's a lot of good like shops and restaurants in Scranton, and then come back to the convention. We do allow re-entry. Somebody asked me that the other day, and I thought, like, I don't know if that is, it's a good thing to know, you know, yeah, because you're not stuck there, you know. Also, I don't know, not that. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. You should come down. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah. Because I'm excited to go home and hang out with my beautiful girlfriend. So she's listening in live. Nice. So, you know, she's out there. I love you, Becca.
Points. And did I see she's a fellow artist as well?
She is. My girlfriend is a pretty phenomenal artist, actually. She's trained. She went to college for painting, so she's an excellent painter. She's done me a couple little paintings I have them hanging in my tattoo room, and they're much better than I can paint, actually. So, and then she's also a tintype artist, so she's into like that like old style of photography where like the image is developed onto like wet plates or like plates of metal, basically. Yeah, it's like those old photos you see like in the Old West where like a bunch of cowboys, but their eyes are always very like distinct. Yeah. So yeah, she does that as well. So she wears a couple different hats, you know, as far as in the art making world. Actually, a lot of different hats. Now that I'm like thinking about it. But yeah, she's wonderful. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to have a chat with.
Yeah, if you ever want to interview with my girlfriend for tintyping, please let me know. Yeah.
Is that something you guys want to learn more about? So let us know. Neat. But yeah, thanks so much, and we will see you guys next week, next Wednesday, and you'll see the NEPA Scene open mic on Tuesdays, and then we're here for the NEPA Scene podcast on Wednesdays, and then we'll be walking around this weekend. So they expect some photos, maybe some videos and things coming out from the tattoo convention this weekend, and maybe some weird, interesting, possibly inappropriate photos from Jason. We'll see. But thanks for tuning in, and we will see you here next week. Have a good night, everybody.